So to start off with, what I'm going to do, well, you need cabbage, and so, you know, I could be here for a little while chopping up this cabbage, just finely shredding it like this. However, my wife has a wonderful machine, and I'm going to use it behind me. I've just finished actually chopping up a whole lot of potatoes here. I've been doing a lot of things manually here in preparation, but let me just begin here. And I will probably just chop this up into larger pieces like this so it can fit in the machine. All right, something like that. And then she's got this wonderful Thermomix machine, which I just learned to use recently. So hopefully it all works for me. Let's see if it comes on. Yes, it's coming on. All right. I'm not sure, Geraldine, how much I can put in there.
Yeah, I just leave it at that for now.
Cabbage in there, Geraldine?
Yeah, that's enough for now.
Enough for now. Chop that up first.
Yes.
All right. Actually, what I should do while I'm doing that is I'll put this, rather than using the hot plates over there and moving my laptop around, I've got this, this gizmo here, my camping equipment, and hopefully my cooker will work all right over here. So I just add a little bit of oil so I can get the garlic and the onion going in there. And I've chopped up a few cloves of garlic here, and I'll put that into the oil.
She wants it.
Sorry. Is that all right? Everyone can, you obviously can't see inside the pot unless I pick it up and go like that, all right? But it's just oil and garlic for now. Now, while that is warming up there, I'll start on this, this cabbage over here. And let's see.
If it doesn't turn, that means you might have a little bit too much in there.
Okay, I don't think it, I don't think it totally liked me, but
Yeah, usually just like one or two pieces at a time.
yeah, maybe. Okay, this is starting to go up here. The garlic, and I've got some onion here as well. A couple of onions that I've just shredded up, and I'll put the onions in now. How are we going over here? You know, as good as the machine is, I think by hand is better, because the machine kind of cuts it up into just fine little pieces, but I want to have slices of cabbage. So I'm going to do the rest here by hand. Because it's the texture that is also important of this dish. And I want to have kind of larger pieces of cabbage in there as well. Okay, make sure I'm not burning over here. So my garlic has gone brown now. And So I've got a carrot in here that I've diced up, and I'm just going to throw the carrot in now, as well as the potato, a couple of medium-sized potatoes that I've diced up. And all right, so that goes in there. So this is the hunter's stew that we're making. In Polish, it's called Bigos. And I guess it's a bit of an acquired taste, really, because it does have sauerkraut in it. And so unless you like things that are a little bit sour, it may not be to your taste. However, I love it. And because we're cooking up all this stuff here tonight, my in-laws are coming over tonight, and they're going to give it a go. You know, the Polish community that I grew up with in Adelaide used to make this, and it was awesome. However, I haven't personally made it until about 3 weeks ago. I think I made it for the first time, but I only made it with the sauerkraut. I didn't add the regular cabbage, and so that was a mistake. I've learned from that, and so hopefully this one that I'm making here tonight is going to be much more tasty, and I think my wife will eat this one. All right, got some hot water over there. Okay, now this is just browned up a little bit here with all the onions, potatoes, carrot, and garlic. And I'll just show that to you. So that's what it looks like. Can you see that in there? Let's see. How about that?
Looks good.
All right. So I'm just going to add the, and I did wash my hands earlier, so don't worry about that. Numerous times. I'll just add the cabbage now.
Yeah, it's good that we're eating more cabbage of late because it's got an excellent source of vitamin C and dietary fiber.
Mm.
And it supplies your body with the vitamin K that we need as well, which is important for our bones and the formation of blood clots after an injury.
And cabbage tastes great too, doesn't it?
It does.
I think. Now, I better add some water in there now, because the bottom of my pot is getting a little bit coloured from all the garlic and the onion that was down the bottom. Let me turn it up to maximum now. And I'll put the rest of this cabbage in as well. So unfortunately, the machine over there, it dices this cabbage up so it looks like, you know, it looks like Colonel Sanders' rendition for ready to go for a coleslaw that they make there, rather than for this hunter's stew. Anyway, cabbage is cabbage, and the good thing is that we'll have a variety of textures in this stew, and you know, I don't know where they got this name hunter's stew from in the translation from Polish. But I guess if you're a hunter and you're out in the wild, you're making something like this, I guess beggars can't be choosers. And the texture and the way that you cut different things doesn't really matter. But the important thing is that it tastes great. Now, the other thing that I need to put in there is stock. And I just bought this Campbell's vegetable stock. And I'm going to put that in there so it can cook in the stock. You'll find that when I cook, I'm a pretty hopeless cook in terms of measuring stuff. I just kind of go by eye, and usually things work out all right. All right. And I'll just give this a rinse because I'm going to use it later on. All right, that's ready to go over there. I might see if I can get a lid for this pot here. Well, that's a bit big. Sorry about the noise. Hopefully this one works. Yes, bingo. All right. Because it's vegetarian, actually I should have probably browned up these mushrooms here a little bit before I put the cabbage in. That doesn't matter. Mushrooms, they'll add taste to this dish, whether they're fried or not. So I'll put the sliced mushrooms in. I purchased those already sliced. I just washed them earlier. And because it's vegan, this dish, I'm just trying to make up for the different, rather than putting different meats in there, I'm putting different types of alternatives that vegetarians would use. So I've got this can of red kidney beans that I'll be adding now, as well as the mushrooms. And I've drained these kidney beans. So in they go. And the other thing that was new to me, as I looked on the internet to find some genuine Polish recipes, they said to put some prunes in. So I didn't do that last time, but I guess that will add a little bit of sweetness. So I've just cut up, 6 prunes, the regular, pitted prunes that you get, about this size, and I've chopped it up just into about a dozen pieces. 1 prune, a dozen pieces. So we'll put that in there as well to cook. I've never used a prune like that before for savoury cooking, but I can understand why they would put that in there. Now, the other thing that I've got here is an alternative to the meat. I haven't tried this before. It's from the Tofurky brand, and it's plant-based deli slices that I bought, and this one is smoked. And so it gives a smoky flavour to this, which gives it a bit of a more authentic kind of taste to what the original would have, because the original would probably have things like beef and salami and stuff like that chopped up in there. So I've got this this smoky ham type thing, but it's plant-based. So we'll put that in there, and I'll put about half of what was in the packet in there. It's a very thin packet. It's only 156 grams. So I'll put about half of that in there. And so yeah, let me just give this a bit of a stir here now.
I just had a question here, just asking about, red cabbage, does it have the same vitamins as green cabbage? Actually, even though they're both excellent sources of antioxidants, red cabbage actually contains about 30% more. And it has lots of vitamins B as well.
Because of the colour, right?
Yeah, because of the colour. And another question came from Diane, just saying, will you add the sauerkraut in the dish with cooking?
Now, the sauerkraut goes in last. It's a good question. The sauerkraut will go in later on because the sauerkraut would cause the other things not to cook so well because of the sourness. It's a little bit like, you know, if you're trying to cook something and you add tomatoes, it takes forever to cook it because the tomatoes just slow down the whole cooking process of whether it be a potato or lentils or something like that that you might be using. So yeah, so I've got the sauerkraut here. I've just bought this down at Woolies. It's called Polish sauerkraut. And yeah, the thing is, you know, a lot of people are eating sauerkraut these days because of probiotics and things like that. But because this one here is actually, I believe it's pasteurized, it wouldn't have any of the probiotics. So really, I'm only using it for the flavor. I'm not using it for the probiotics. Let me just see if I can give a bit of assistance to opening up this jar. Here we go. All right.
So really, if you want to have the probiotics, you really need to have the ones which are refrigerated.
Yeah, and you need to eat it raw. Don't cook it. Don't heat it above, I think, 40 degrees, something like that. Okay, so that's cooking there now. What have I missed here? I think Jana sent out the recipes to you guys that are in the recipe club. What I might just put in a little bit of now to add some flavour here is Polish people use a lot of caraway seeds in various things that they cook. And, you know, I was trying to get some more caraway seeds beforehand, but there didn't seem to be any in the shops. So I bought this one here. It's just in one of these Hoyt's packets, caraway seeds. And I'm putting like maybe a teaspoon of those in there. They kind of look a little bit like a cumin seed, maybe a little bit smaller. And I suppose it might be in the same family. So let's see, I've got the cabbage. I'm going to put the sauerkraut in later. I've got the potatoes, the carrots, the kidney beans, the mushrooms. What I haven't put in yet is the smoky tofu. I couldn't find any smoky tofu to buy, and so what I did earlier, I tried to make some smoky tofu. What I did is I bought this firm tofu, and I froze it on Friday. I stuck it in the freezer, and today I defrosted it. And then once it's been like that, once it's been frozen and defrosted, it actually, you know, when you cut it up, it actually has more of a texture like chicken or something like that, like a meat would. And so, you know, I cut it up into pieces like about that size. Let's see, maybe I'll just put it down there. About, you know, approximately 1 or 1.5 square centimeters or so. And then what I did this earlier, and I put them out just on this paper, and I've got a paper top and bottom, and then I just squeezed it, okay? Squeeze it like that, and you notice that the paper's just all wet. And it says I've been signed out of my account. Is it still working? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I don't know why it says I've been signed out of my account. I guess it does that from time to time. Everyone's still okay? Everyone's still online?
Yep, everyone's online.
All right. So I'm just taking all the juice out of there, out of this tofu. And then what I did is I just put it in a little bowl like this. This is really cooking here. So, it's starting to smell a bit smoky even now with those deli slices in there. I'll just turn it down because it's really cranking here. So once I chopped it up like that, I bought this smoky barbecue marinade. It's a Master Foods product, and I just poured some over the tofu. And then I put it in the oven, around 200 C in the oven, and that's ready to go now. So the tofu basically comes out with a smoky flavour. And that'll be my smoked beef alternative. So I'll just leave that as well because I'll put that in later on, maybe around the same time, maybe as I put the sauerkraut in. Otherwise, I think it might just change the. I don't know. I'm just worried that it might not hold together as it should, or it might also lose some of its flavour. And I want people, as they're eating it, as they grab one of those pieces of tofu, they're like, oh, that's a nice flavour in that tofu. So I'll just leave that there for now, and put it in later on together with the sauerkraut. Okay, so what else? We've got the onions, the garlic, the prunes, the vegetable broth. It says here to put some tomato paste in there. I can put, what I'll do is I'll put in some authentic passata. Maybe I won't use that one. Maybe I will just use some tomato paste actually. But again, I'll put the tomato, I've just got the Legos tomato paste. I'll put in the Legos tomato paste right at the end so that it doesn't affect my, my cabbage and potatoes and everything here getting cooked properly and getting soft as they should. Okay, so that's for later on. And what else does it say here? Some paprika powder. I guess the paprika also causes it to have a little bit of a smoky flavour. And one of the things that Polish people also like to use in their cooking is marjoram. I'm actually growing some in my garden at the moment. I've got a few plants there. It's got a bit of a way to go. But again, marjoram is one of those herbs that, unless you've got a special sort of shop nearby, it can be a little bit hard to buy. And so I got this dried one, imported from Europe. In fact, imported from Poland. And so I'm going to put some of that in. Maybe a teaspoon of marjoram. All right, there we go. And I'll put in some of this paprika as well. It says 1 tablespoon of paprika. That's a fair bit, isn't it? I might take this lid off and just put that paprika in. There we go. That'll do. And some black pepper. Now, I'd like my daughter to at least taste this, so I might not put in the black pepper at the moment because she's not so keen on chili or pepper or things like that. So I'll leave the pepper and just allow people to put their pepper on later on. And some salt to taste, and then it says parsley or dill at the end. So I'm just going to see, that's probably starting to get soft now, I imagine.
It's interesting that paprika actually has shown to have benefits for healing wounds and support healthy digestion. So if you were actually using the fresh sauerkraut, that helps with digestion as well and the good gut microbiome. And then your carrow seeds, which actually helps with good digestion, it'd actually be a really healthy stew you've got there.
Yeah, so I've tried to get a little bit of everything in there. This is what it looks like. Can you see that at all?
Let's go a bit closer.
A little bit closer, all right.
Yeah, that's it.
I just don't want to get any of this on my computer.
Yeah, that's good.
Let me see. Let me just get this light here. Here we go. How's that? You see that?
Yes.
Or is that too bright?
That's good.
So I just got a little bit of everything there, and I was going to have a bit of a taste here to see if the potato's done. Still got a little bit of a way to go actually, the potato, maybe another 5 minutes. Same with the carrot. So I'll just leave that here on the side for now.
So is there much sauce or gravy that's coming from the cabbage? And
I put water and stock in there.
Yeah.
I've probably got a little bit too much water in there, so I might actually uncover this to evaporate some of the stock and the water, etc. It's meant to be a stew, so a stew is not like a soup, right? Now, I'll just clean this board here a little bit. And what I hadn't finished doing before, so I'll get on to the next dish here now, which is the Polish potato salad. Now, one of the keys to the Polish potato salad is to have all your ingredients cut up fairly fine. And, you know, my mother used to have a special little gadget to do that. I tried to buy one, but I don't know, the shops that I went to, they didn't have anything like that. So I'll just cut this 3 ways that way, this carrot, and try to cut it 3 ways the other way. Try and get this fairly fine. All right, and then just chop it up. What I did with the carrots and the potatoes and the celery root is I just boiled them all together in their skin. They say that if you boil it in the skin, it retains a bit more flavour. So, and then after I cooked it, that was like early this afternoon, I let it cool. Then I peeled the potatoes, peeled the carrots, and put it in the fridge. And so now I'm working with cold potatoes and cold carrots, and just it makes it easier, I guess, to cut it up. But also, this salad, it's not meant to be eaten warm. So just showing you that, you know, if you take time, you'll cut this up finer, I'm sure. I'm kind of going a little bit fast here, but if you take your time, and the important thing is not to overcook your potatoes and carrots and things, otherwise it ends up all a bit of a mush. So
it's interesting, Daniel, because when you peel the carrot,
yeah,
vitamin C and the niacin, you basically lose a lot of, well, you don't lose a lot, but there's a lot of vitamin C and niacin right near the peel.
Yeah.
So when you peel your vegetables, you actually lose a lot of good stuff.
Well, maybe that's why the Polish people don't peel it when they cook it.
Mm.
Well, at least for this salad anyway. Now, this is, I'll just give this a bit of a stir, make sure it's all good. All right. The other thing that I did earlier on is I just got some frozen peas, and I cooked those for about 5-10 minutes, and so I'll put those in now as well. There they are. So I got my carrots, my potatoes, my peas in there at the moment. Now this one here, to be honest, I've never cooked with this before, but I know that my mother used to put this into the recipe, so I thought I better do the right thing. So this is the celery root. If you've never used a celery root, you know, when I brought it home, my wife said, "What animal is that?" So this is what it looks like. This is half of the celery root, okay? And it kind of looks a bit messy and dirty and whatever, but it's not. This is cooked already. And so I just sliced it in half after it was cooked. And then I peeled it, or basically I cut the sides off. It was a little bit like cleaning up like getting rid of the peel off a pineapple. And it's the same deal here. So just like with the potatoes and the carrots, it's a little bit firmer. And that might be possibly because, you know, it's also thicker than the potatoes, but it'll add a little bit of crunch, I guess, to the salad. All right, so again, I just cut it up into fine strips. I'm trying to cut this one up finer than the potatoes and the carrots, and that's because I can do that because it's not as overcooked. You know, they say with this Polish potato salad, the finer that you cut the vegetables, the better it tastes. The other thing they say that if you make the salad, the potato salad, you leave it for a while and it actually tastes better the next day, or after a while anyway. So
yeah, I looked it up, and you actually can use it as smashed or mash. You can use it as for roast vegetables.
yeah,
You can use it as a soup or gratin, or even like fries.
yeah, that's right. I've even had it battered and fried. It's actually quite nice. Again, haven't made it myself. It's one of those dishes that I used to eat when I was eating my mother's cooking. But you know, when I went to Woolies this morning to get this guy, I wasn't sure even if they had it, because I've never really looked for it in the shop. But there it was. It was there in the fridge. We haven't got a very big Woolworths down the road from where we live. But it was there, and I was shocked. There was, you know, at least half a dozen of them there in the fridge.
You apparently can use them with like also different types of salads, and it has like a nutty flavour.
Yeah, correct. Now, you could also, instead of using the celery root, you could just use raw celery. And if you use raw celery, the other important thing is just to cut it up really fine, because you just want to, what it does is it adds a little bit of crunch and a little bit of flavour to your salad. All right. Now that might do. So I'll just put that in.
While you're mixing that, Diane asked, are you serving the stew with rice?
No.
What do you serve it with?
The stew is going to be eaten with this traditional Polish rye bread with caraway seeds. Okay, so it's a rye bread, slightly darker, and if it's got caraway seeds in it, then it's kind of more of an authentic Eastern European sort of bread. How am I going for time? We're doing all right? I think that the potatoes and everything will be pretty well done here now. So what I'm going to do now is I'll add the tofu. Where was my tofu? Back here. All right, now I just put the tofu out on a baking paper so that it wouldn't stick to my pan. Let's see how it goes here now. I'll just grab one of these, loosen it all up a bit. Probably should have turned it while it was in the oven, but I was busy chopping up different things, and so now it's stuck a little bit to the paper. That's all good. Once it goes into the stew, it'll be all good. All right, there we go. As long as I don't get any paper in, right? Rubbish there. I think my rubbish bin is a bit overflowing. So there we go. Put that one in there. And it's fairly firm, you know, if I was to try and eat that. and it's almost a bit crunchy to eat, a little bit hard to eat. It'll soften up in there and hopefully be more like a, you know, it's got some sort of authentic meat in there. Now I'll put a little bit of this tomato paste in there. All right, it's got a little gizmo I need to pull off. Oh, other way, what's going on here? Oh. All right, put a bit of that in there. Not too much. You know, last time I made this, I didn't put any tomato in there. So the tomato is just, I think, just adds a little bit of interest to the taste. Really, it doesn't need to be there, 100%. And now I've got the all-important sauerkraut. I'll just get a fork because they pack it in pretty well into these jars, and I'll just, you know, I'm just guesstimating here, pulling out kind of big clumps of this sauerkraut. And you really, what you want is to have not quite the same amount of sauerkraut as you do the fresh cabbage. So the quantity of the sauerkraut is less than the fresh cabbage. And that's the mistake that I made last time when I made this. I put too much sauerkraut and not enough of the fresh cabbage. In fact, I didn't put any cabbage last time. I've got some bay leaves here as well. I'm not sure if I had bay leaves on the recipe, but I'm just going to put maybe 2 or 3 bay leaves in here. And the bay leaves you don't eat, you can pull them out once it's cooked and just cover them up so that they're moistening up those bay leaves. And that'll just add a little bit of extra flavour to the dish. Okay, I'll turn it down low now. And I've got about the right texture now actually, so I'll put the lid back on. Maybe I can show it to you here, what it looks like in the pot. Whoa, there might be too much steam actually. Can you see that or not?
Yeah, Ken, probably needs a little bit of light. Yeah, that's better, much better.
Okay. Very good. So I'll put the lid back on and just let this simmer away. Where's my lid gone? I had it here somewhere. There it is.
You know what Alana just said as she saw you cooking from upstairs? She says, wow, Daddy's a real cook.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't actually cook that much at home, but I do like cooking. I just don't often get time to do it. All right, so I think that's the Polish Bigos ready to go, and we can continue working on our potato salad now. Now, what I did earlier was I cut up a few just, you know, spring onions. I had a bunch of spring onions and I took the base part of about 4 or 5 of those stems. I cut it up fairly finely and I just mixed it up with a little bit of olive oil to let it soften up a little bit. And so I'm going to put that now. I better wash this. This one's for this dish. Let me just get another spoon here. I'm going to put the spring onion into the mix here for the potato salad. And what I've also got here is I've diced up some dill pickles. Now you can get different types of dill pickles. I've got 2 different ones here. This one here is just called Globus dill pickles. They're from Poland. It says, in fact, it uses Polish words on the front. These are from Woolies. says polskie ogórki, which basically just means Polish dill pickles. But when you look at the ingredients on this one, it's got vinegar, okay? And I really don't want vinegar. These ones with the vinegar, that's kind of, it's nice for different things like for sandwiches or different types of dishes. But for this dish, I really want the authentic type of prepared dill pickles. And so these ones, when I look on the back, it doesn't have any vinegar in it. It's just got ingredients, it's cucumbers, water, garlic, horseradish, salt, and dill. That's all you need, no vinegar. And so I've chopped up a few of these already. I'll take out one more. And you know what, if it was for me, I'd probably put more in. I've chopped up probably 4 dill pickles here already. So this will be the 5th one. And because, you know, my family is not as crazy about dill pickles as me, I'll put in less. But if it was just for me, I'd be putting in more of those dill pickles, because really, this is one of the key differences between a regular potato salad and a Polish one. If you put these dill pickles in, it's just amazing flavour. So put these dill pickles in there. And these ones that I cut up earlier, just mix it all in. And so what else I missed? I've got the potatoes, I've got the carrots, I've got the spring onions, the dill pickles, the green peas, and mixed in the olive oil with the spring onions. I've got the celery root in there. The next thing that I've got here is the vegan mayonnaise. So we actually at home, we love this stuff. It's original veganese. And I'll turn this off now. I think it's done, this dish here.
Can you just share the bottle of the veganese a bit closer to the camera and you get a
Oh, sure. Okay. Now, I don't want to overcook this, otherwise, you know, the tofu might just not be like I want it. So I think that's done. That's the Bigos, ready to go. The veganese, we buy this at Woolies. There it is. Can you see that? It's just a vegan type of mayonnaise. It says better than mayo on the dish, so it must be. Hopefully I've got enough of this, because this dish is looking quite big here now. I've got enough here to feed an army. So I've got the vegan. The other important difference also with Polish potato salad is they put mustard, a little bit of mustard in there as well. So I'm going to get a little bit of that. Got some mustard here. I think it's just a teaspoon of mustard. Where is it? Mustard, 1 to 2 tablespoons. Okay. So look, I'll put in a large teaspoon. I like to kind of just do things and then taste it and see whether it needs something extra. So you need a fair bit of this mayonnaise now.
And then
what does it say? 1 cup of mayonnaise. So it's pretty much the whole can, right? But I won't put the whole can. I'll put maybe half and see how it goes. I mean, it needs to be fairly creamy. Also, I won't put the black pepper on the recipe. I had black pepper and salt. I'll allow people to do that themselves as they want to add that to it. Now, the other thing that I haven't done here, I washed this parsley, and I didn't quite get time to chop it all up before we all got online. So I'll do that now. I've just got the curly parsley here. And again, it's important to have it cut up fairly fine, not coarse. If you cut it up coarsely, I think it just it doesn't get the right flavour. You've got these big chunks of green stuff. in your salad that really shouldn't be there in that way. Okay.
It's interesting that it actually contains vitamins A, C, and K.
Mm. And what I did with these, I mean, you can leave them on. If you're going to cut it up fairly fine, you can use the stems, but I basically took the the bottom 3 inches, or about 100 mil or so of the stem that you buy it with, and I just ripped it off and threw it away. But you can, of course, use the stem as well. I just, I mean, I've got some stems in here, but I really was after the leaf to go into the salad. Okay, and so it says that we put about half a cup of this parsley, and as you can see, it's managed to get it pretty fine. You just got to take your time to get it to a fine sort of consistency. So I'll put a bunch of that in there, and then what I might do, I've got a little bit left over here that I'm going to put in the Bigos. All right, there we go. Put that one in there. Give it a stir. And the Bigos smells all right. Just wash my hand here. Okay, so I guess, the important thing is here with the potato salad. Can you see that on the screen? Can you see the potato salad or not?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, as I'm mixing it here, I can see that it's going to need more. It's going to need more of this mayonnaise. And probably some mustard as well, eh? Another teaspoon of mustard. And you just have to be a bit careful as you're mixing it. Otherwise, the whole thing ends up a bit of a mush. And you really want to try to retain the structure of your diced vegetables. Rather, otherwise you end up with a mash. You don't want mash. So I haven't put any salt in here. I think the recipe calls for both salt and a little bit of sugar. But I just thought, I'll just leave that for when we're eating it. We can add it then, because different people like different amounts of salt, sugar, pepper, all those sorts of things. So, yeah, this is starting to look good. Let me taste a little bit. Beautiful. I wish you could be here to have some.
I will be.
Anything? Let's see. I've got the mayo, parsley, mustard. So it's just the black pepper, salt and sugar that I haven't put in there. So that's ready to go. The last thing that I had, which I have made many times, is the beetroot condiment. And I mean, you could, and I've done this before, I buy beetroots and I boil them. Then you got to wait for them to cool down, and you peel them, and then you got to grate them. You want to grate it really fine. So you can do one of two things. You can either use one of these things here on the fine section, or I'm going to try using my wife's special machine again. So I'll just cut this open and drain it. You've got to be careful, otherwise you get it all over yourself, this beetroot liquid. So you just drain the liquid out, and then I'm going to pop it into the Thermomix machine again.
You would just want to make sure you put on a very low speed so it doesn't become mash.
No, I want this one to be mashed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want it to be fine, actually, really fine. And that's why if you're using the manual, I'm just cutting it up to give the machine a bit of a head start on cutting. So do any of you guys buy these beetroots at the shops? We love them. They're good for you.
You can unmute yourself if you want to ask a question or comment.
So I just pop them in the machine there. Better give the lid a bit of a rinse too, because it's got a little bit of cabbage left over from before. Pop the lid back on, turn the machine on. The other thing that I'm using for this is, where is my horseradish? I had horseradish here before, so here it is. So, you know, you can get your horseradish in delicatessens and places like that. The horseradish that they sell at Woolies and Coles isn't very good. You want to get, you know, a strong flavoured sort of horseradish, and this one is basically just grated horseradish in here.
Can you put it up to the camera so everyone can have a look?
Yeah, look, this one, you know, I actually bought this authentic stuff. I bought it in a Polish shop and in Parramatta. They have all these things in Parramatta. And it just says on the bottle, you know, you wouldn't know what it is. It says chrzan, which means horseradish. And, you know, when I open it, I just smell it. I know that this one is pretty strong. So you just have to be careful not to put too much in, because it can be a little bit like, you know, it's in the same category as wasabi. It's in the same family. And so it just depends how much of the beetroot you want to eat. If you want to eat more beetroot, you put less of the horseradish. If you want it just as a little bit of a condiment, you can make it super hot. Okay, so let me just turn the machine on here now. Beautiful. Okay, so it's come out. The machine has basically pulverized it. That's all right. That's how I like it anyway. So what I might do is put it in a bowl here where you can see it being mixed a little bit easier. Get it all out there. So, you know, if I was to do this by hand with the grater, I'd be there for quite a long time. But with this machine, it just speeds up the process seriously. The reason I never used to make this stuff is because it took me so long to cook the beetroots and then grate the beetroots, and just, you know, one of the things about Polish food, it takes a long time to prepare. But with this machine, this is really good. This is good to make. Now, the other thing that I've got in the recipe is some caraway seeds. Like I said, you know, the Polish, they love their caraway seeds. So I'll put about a teaspoon of caraway seeds in there. And the recipe also calls for some white vinegar, but I'm not going to put that in. I'm not so keen on the white vinegar. My mum never used to make it with white vinegar, so I'm going to put, like, you know, maybe a 1/6 of the beetroot to the horseradish. And if you like it stronger, you can double that quantity. So I'm just going to mix that up.
We just have a question here. Can you use wasabi?
Ooh, I think wasabi is a lot hotter, but you know, I guess it'll give you a similar flavour. Horseradish is nowhere near as strong as wasabi.
Yeah, if you're using wasabi, you want to have a little taste first.
Yeah.
I think Christine might have wanted to say something, but I couldn't hear any. Maybe the volume wasn't turned up.
Okay. I think you're able to unmute her, Geraldine.
Oh.
I can unmute myself, it's fine. I wasn't going to say anything. I was just getting ready, just in case.
All right, so that's the beetroot there, and really it's a condiment. It's a side thing. So Polish people, they eat it like, you know, they'll have their veggies and their protein, whatever they're having, and they'll have this on the side as a condiment. So the way that I was thinking to eat this tonight is with the hunter's stew. There we go, just take it out like that. A little bit like soup, I suppose, but it's a lot thicker. And so it looks like that. All right.
Yep, looks good.
And then I'll have, to go with that, I'll have a piece of this authentic bread. So Polish people love their bread. And you basically just eat the bread together with the stew. Can you see that all right?
Yes, you can. So when do you use your beetroot dip?
So that's the next dish. Just grab another plate here. And, you know, this doesn't have any protein as such, you know, like you would have for a main dinner or something like that. But I guess we got our proteins in there. You probably wouldn't have all of this. I've probably overdone it here tonight. So, you know, often that's all I would eat, just the bigos and the bread, and that's all you need. Alternatively, you could have just this as a dish. I mean, it's got your carrots, your peas, your potatoes, and your pickles in there. And then you just have a little bit of this on the side. You got some colour there, and that's it. So, you know, I would just have a little bit of this, and I will add some salt, and a little bit of this on the side, and because my in-laws are coming over tonight to eat some of this, I'm not going to put any more horseradish in there unless they want it. I think that's the perfect amount. All right, so it's probably about half the amount that I had on the recipe there. And that's all you need. So that's it for tonight's program. Is there any questions or comments? Want to speed this one up a little bit more?
Wow.
It's very nice.
Yes. What kind of meat do you use if you're using meat?
You mean, what do you mean with this dish?
The stew.
The stew, often, like, I mean, you know, I wasn't a vegetarian as a kid. We used to eat all sorts of things, but I think I mentioned we would put beef in there, just chopped up, you know, pieces of beef, and also sausage.
Oh, okay.
You know,
but you can get away with only beef.
Yeah. So the Polish sausage gives it a little bit of a smoky flavour.
Ah,
And so that's why I've tried to replicate it by putting that smoky flavour on the tofu and also using the deli slices that have a bit of a smoky flavour.
can you serve it with rice instead of bread?
You could, yeah. I guess that, you know, traditionally Polish people would probably eat it with potatoes
Ah,
or with the rye bread. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Mm,
Diane,
mm.
you can have it with rice. It's not an issue.
Yeah, because I'm trying to avoid gluten.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Do potatoes have gluten?
No,
No.
no, of course.
I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah, so you could have mashed potatoes on the side.
Oh, yes, beautiful.
Yeah, instead of the bread.
Yeah, yeah. Mm,
All right.
mm. Thank
All right,
you.
well, bon appetit. Any other questions from anyone?
I would love to have food.
You want to have a taste? Well, look, you know, when we're past this shutdown period, we might actually make some of this back buy some. I guess you probably all heard the doorbell. That'll be the end.
Yes, yes. Okay,
For dinner.
we'll leave.
Well,
Thank you, Pastor.
Tonight, have a good evening. And
Yeah,
enjoy
you
what
too.
you're making tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.